house always wins. Play long enough, you never change the stakes. The house takes you. Unless, when that perfect hand comes along, you bet big, and then you take the house. Been practicing this pitch a little bit. Did I rush it? Felt like I rushed.
That was good. I liked it.
What's up, everybody, and welcome back to the Big Easy Bets podcast. I'm your host, Logan, and with me in the studio, Nick Von Brick.
What's up?
With us on the ones and twos is Bam.
Yo.
Episode 231. Hit that like and subscribe button. NFL Week 1, college football Week 2. We are now officially all the way back. We've said it a bunch leading up to this episode. We've entered into our first professional contest, the Circa Millions. So what we're going to do with that is we are going to recap it each week. The lines officially don't come out for the contest until Thursday. Obviously, we're recording on Tuesday to get our games out within enough time ahead of time. So we are going to recap it throughout our year. We will certainly keep you in the mix on how we're doing. Again, hit that like and subscribe button for me if you don't mind. What a first weekend for the LSU Tigers. We tried to tell you it was a new year. I sat right here in this chair 2 months ago, maybe longer than that, and said LSU 20-1 was mispriced. I saw us go get A.J. Halsey and Bernard Gooden, and I said everybody should bet LSU 20-1. It's funny now after the fact listening to everybody go, if I had to pick one futures bet, it would be LSU 10-1. You could have got double that if you listened to us. I said we talked about it. I said I would question my entire football knowledge if this team came out and wasn't at least good and a contender. You know what I mean? Just with the talent on the field and the people we went out and got, it was just too much. And the narrative of the transfer portal's weak and this and that, I felt like that's lazy, because if you're going to call the transfer portal weak, Mansour Delane might be the best cornerback we've had in quite some time. So absolutely shut down half the field. Patrick Payton, a cast-off from Florida State, dominated. I felt like the Weeks brothers are exactly who we know them to be. But you were literally watching money well spent.
Yeah, freaking Harold Perkins
is finally being used the way he's supposed to be used.
I thought he played traditional linebacker very well.
But rushing the passer, he put the game away with the pass rush. And, I felt like he did. I felt like he was arguably the best player on the field.
Yeah, definitely less waiting around and more so him attacking the line of scrimmage from the linebacker position. Yeah,
no indecisiveness, and it just felt like clearly the star position is where he needs to be. And it's just funny. We saw that last play, and you see him put his foot in the ground and go. It's like, go fucking get it. And, dude, the closing speed is noticeably different. Him and fucking Bernard Gooden, when he gets on his horse, Jesus Christ. Bernard Gooden started chasing down Klubnik. You're like, God, big fella. And then he's hawking him down. I really don't think, or let me rephrase that. I know the final score does not do it justice. LSU won the game 17-10. They had a touchdown taken off the board, which I know it was a touchdown. Give me a break about, you got to control it. I don't even want to hear it. That was a touchdown that was taken off the board. You mismanaged the end of the first half situation. Brian Kelly came out and said he should have just kicked the field goal. There wasn't enough time to score it. You're looking at what should have been 27-10, possibly more. The fact of the matter is you came out in the second half and you hold Clemson to 0 points. Cade Klubnik, everybody's consensus Heisman favorite and #1 overall pick, and blah, 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 blah. He looked like shit. He looked like he didn't belong out there. They couldn't do anything. They couldn't run the ball. That was the most glaring thing. Could not run the ball at all. Very one-dimensional. They started trying to pass it every single time, let the D-line pin their ears back and go back and get him, and that's exactly what they did. So money well spent is the sentiment of this week 1 for LSU. And Brian Kelly talking his shit in the press conference, and Dabo Swinney coming out today saying, I give that. It's like they got a 65, we got a 58 on the test. Nobody did good. What are you talking about? What is he talking about? They look like shit. We dominated that second half game. You marched into Memorial Stadium. It's not Death Valley. You marched into Memorial Stadium, and you dominated what people were calling a top 5 team, especially even ranked. I think they were ranked number 4. that was the popular pick for they got all this returning production and they're going to win the national championship. And we sat right here and said they had all that production last year. Where was it? Every time they played the SEC or a step up in talent, they couldn't do anything. All I know is I feel good.
Yeah, that was funny. Did you see Brian Kelly respond?
Yeah. He's like, well, he must be either good at grading them or bad at grading us. And that's
like, he's like, maybe it's both, or maybe he didn't watch the second half because he didn't want to.
Yeah. No, and look, Brian Kelly has been made fun of since he stepped foot in Baton Rouge. The family on the college basketball court, the spinning camera with the recruits, and the banging the table after USC. So it's nice to see. Thank you for that, Bam. It's nice to see that he gets to talk his shit now, and he gets to kind of give back what he's gotten for a long time. Dabo Swinney's been a fucking dweeb for a long time, a long, long time. Make no mistake about it. Dabo Swinney's been a loser. So that was Brian Kelly's very politically correct, nice way of saying, go fuck yourself. It just felt good. That's what we said. It's a new year. It's a new season. We put our money where our mouth is. You went out and you got a bunch of fucking trained assassins, high paid, ready to perform players. And I'm just hoping that they don't, because the narrative has quickly become LSU's the best team in the country. And LSU was the most impressive, and they were. You went on the road. Ohio State beat Texas, I understand. That was a 14-7 game. Neither team looked all that impressive. LSU marched in a Memorial Stadium on the road where the Tigers never lose, and dominated that game. So it's exactly what we were talking about. You control your own destiny now. You handle business. And another reason why I said 20-1 doesn't make sense is because you look at Alabama and Georgia and all these other teams that have quarterback questions. Alabama's got a lot more questions now. A lot more questions now. Is Kalen DeBoer's seat hot?
Yeah, it is. But I think Alabama's going to be one of those teams that plays flat like they did in week one. And then, for example, when we have to go on the road to play them, they could play us very well.
Or they just suck.
Or they might just suck, but just go back to last year and you kind of remember, them dropping to Vanderbilt, and then
but this is
that,
different,
they beat
though.
Georgia.
Yes. And I agree, because they looked – Bam had a Milroe bet for Heisman. And I said if he comes out and lights it up against Georgia, he'll probably jump into the favorite. That first half, he jumped in the favorite. They were up 21-0, but then Georgia came back, nearly won the game, if I remember correctly.
Yeah.
But then after that, so you had – the sluggish play against USF. You lose to Vanderbilt. You lose to Oklahoma to end the season. And then and ruin your chances of getting into the college football playoff. And then you go lose in the bowl game to Michigan, who can't throw a forward pass in an embarrassing fashion. So the writing has been on the wall that at the very least, clearly, this is no longer a Nick Saban coach team. Clearly, you're not going to be able to show up and it's a formality that y'all are going to win 10 games and be able to call that a bad season. This Alabama team is vulnerable. I don't think they're very well coached. It's just not up to par with what you saw with Saban, who's the greatest college coach of all time. You hear the rumors coming out on the message boards from the boosters. I'm asking.
No.
So whether it's true or not, I don't know. But they said that one of the high-paying boosters allegedly said that players are ordering DoorDash at 2 a.m. They're sneaking girls into the hotel. They're showing up late to the bus to get to the stadium, to get through walkthroughs and all of that. So it's just not anywhere near what you saw with the Nick Saban-run team. And then you got DeBoer in the press conference the other day after practice. Like, they're like, oh, you said you had a great week of preparation. He's like, I said that? He just looks like he's floundering in the look, Alabama, to follow Nick Saban is arguably the hardest follow job in the history of college football. He's the best coach, had success everywhere he's gone. And now you got to come in and you got to make sure there's no drop-off. There was inevitably going to be some drop-off. Well, this was the year where Milroe's gone. You had Milroe as leftover, and now you get to kind of do what you want to do. And he got his guy, the OC, with him. But then there was rumblings like, well, Ty Simpson's been on the roster for a long time. Why could he never win the job? And then you come out and Ty Simpson didn't look incapable, but he didn't look great. He didn't look very good. The biggest glaring issue for me was that offensive line's overrated. Caden Proctor, the left tackle, was getting mauled all game, and he's supposed to be the best left tackle in college football. He was getting manhandled. So I sent you a picture, and they were dominating the fucking offensive line where it was, I don't know, just not what you're used to seeing with Alabama. So that was another reason why it went into LSU's a good bet. The SEC is vulnerable right now, more so, or there's just more question marks than we're used to in years past. So all I know is, look, you're 1-0. Everything is in front of you. You got a big game with Florida coming up. Can't overlook Louisiana Tech. Can't overlook anybody. It just, I feel good. That's all that matters. I got a good ticket sitting in my pocket. Doesn't mean anything if you lose, because then it's just a fucking waste of time. But they looked fucking good. Nussmeier did what he needed to do. Looked good. How would you grade the performance for LSU?
A+. I'm dead serious.
I wouldn't disagree.
I thought I nailed it because everybody was talking about the quarterbacks and the offenses. I'm like, obviously everyone knew Clemson's defense was good, but what was overlooked was LSU's defense, and they might be better than Clemson.
Yeah. Yeah. No. I think they are.
From top to bottom, where's the weakness? Like, you play your first half without your best safety. No issues at all.
And he comes in making plays out the fucking gates.
Yeah.
No, I agree.
So
we talked about this, though, for months, where I'm like, where is the weakness? It's not at linebacker. We knew that coming in. You had a pretty good feeling that the upgrades you made on the defensive line, that the question mark was in the secondary, but when you went and got Halsey, that's why I was like, oh, my God. When we got Halsey from Houston at what felt like at the very end of, like, that portal cycle, and then you went and got Bernard Gooden, it's like, dude, you already had Pickett coming in who played, I think he played 20 snaps. He gave up one catch. Like, he played well. I wouldn't necessarily say.
He didn't play that much.
But
that just goes to show you how good LSU's secondary is.
Exactly.
That a player of his caliber, even though he's a freshman, he's not starting.
Yeah, but they couldn't pick on him. They threw it a shitload.
No, yeah.
And so he gave up, I think, one catch. It was like a QBR of 30. Like, he played great in his limited amount of time for a true freshman to go on the road into that stadium for that game against a top 5 team. That checks all the boxes I'm looking for, because he was covering well. They had footage of him, and I was watching some of the.
Yeah, and he'll play more. It's just the style of Clemson's team. We weren't running a lot of 5 defensive backs. We were running 3 linebackers, 4 defensive backs.
But no, that's what I'm saying. I think it's a good thing where you've got proven guys. Delane is obviously a stud. You hit on him in the portal. But then the fact that he could come in and not look like a weakness in a very limited amount of snaps, I understand. But, yeah, you don't need him to necessarily be a number 1 guy or shut down half the field like we can potentially get with Delane. So it's the added depth, and it's it just goes to show you that. I mean, I thought Gilbert played pretty well in place of Halsey while he was suspended. And Cooley, same thing. There's a lot of guys. There's a lot of guys on that defense. And I thought Blake Baker called a great game. I thought he threw some really good different blitz looks at Klubnik and had him rattled. So I think we checked all the boxes, and now you just handle business. Keep moving, business as usual. Let's see. Is Arch Manning overrated?
I think but I think he's going to end up being a decent player this year.
Define decent. Heisman contender?
No.
Okay. I agree. I think he's overrated by default because the expectations were so high, like unrealistically high. And he hadn't done anything to warrant that high of expectations, let alone being the Heisman Trophy favorite. But I will say, so the touchdown that he threw was a good ball. The better ball was down the left sideline on like the little wheel route, the anticipatory throw. He put it in between 2 defenders and towards the end of the game. That was his best throw of the day. But I'm not a fucking quarterback guru. I've never been to the Manning Passing Academy. You would imagine he's been in there his entire fucking life. What the fuck? Some of his mechanics on these throws look like dog shit. Like, he threw a couple behind the guy on critical third downs because he's, like, on his back foot doing, like, sidearm shit. I'm like, what is that? Your fucking whole family does a damn camp every year.
Yeah.
Uncle Rico throws.
Yeah.
The main thing is that it was an extremely tough test for his first road start.
100%.
And first start against anybody worth a damn.
Yeah.
So I expected him to struggle in the game.
Yeah, I just think that, like, the first throw of the game, he dirts it at the guy's feet. And it's, like, relatively clean pocket, if I remember correctly. So was it nerves? Was it – I don't know. I felt like Sayan played pretty well. Not spectacular, obviously. Nobody put up points on the board, but I felt like he handled the pressure a little bit better. The interception Arch threw was really bad. I'm not exactly even sure what he was looking at there. Maybe he was just really, really late to it. But, yeah, I think the expectations for Arch were unrealistically high. They came crashing down very fast. We told you, do not bet Arch Manning to win the Heisman Trophy. Not at that number. So I hope you didn't do that. But, yeah, it'll be interesting to see how he bounces back. I would say Sarkisian did not call a good game.
Yeah, he didn't do any favors.
No, not at all. Tush push on 4th and 1. That's the thing. People forget because, well, let's see. Bam, if they played on a neutral field, neutral site, what would you make the line?
Ohio State minus 2.5.
Okay. I think it would be Texas minus 2.5. What do you think?
Like this week?
Yeah.
Yeah, I don't know. I agree with Bam. I think Ohio State should be favored.
Yeah, I think it would be on a neutral. I think it would be pretty close to. I think Texas would be favored. And people came out and because they came out with one of the polls, and Texas. It wasn't the AP rankings, but I think one of the bookmakers maybe put out a line, and it was like Texas minus 2, something like that. And people were like up in arms, going crazy about it. And so did Texas close the favorite?
It was pretty close to a pick 'em at close.
So that's on the road at Ohio State. So if you go to a neutral field, you look at how many times Texas got stuffed on the goal line. You had a kind of a jump ball to Carnell Tate where he double caught it. And it wasn't like Ohio. My point is, it wasn't like Ohio State dominated. I really do think that Texas on a neutral would still be favored.
So, it closed Ohio State minus 1 or Ohio State minus 1.5.
Okay. Yeah, I mean, Texas had the ball with a chance to go down and tie it up. And obviously came up short. But, yeah, no, I could be wrong, but I would think that they would be at least back to a pick 'em. But I think that, I mean, when you look at the yards, Ohio State only had 200 yards. Texas had 336. They ran the ball for 166 yards. Ohio State only had 77. I think Texas would be favored on a neutral. But I saw that was a topic of discussion on Twitter that people were up in arms about, and they were like, oh, my God, Ohio State should be favored by a touchdown. I'm like, you're crazy. You're crazy. I just think Ohio State won the game, but I wasn't blown away by the performance. So, you know?
Yeah.
Last thing before we get to the games, Bill Belichick got his welcome to college football, and they marched down the field first drive, and then the tweets came. Skip Bayless, I've got Bill Belichick as the second greatest college coach of all time. Colin Cowherd saw enough. They have a national championship offense. Just the clowns came out the woodwork. and it proceeded to turn into it proceeded to be like middle of the third quarter, you felt bad. First play of the second half, TCU takes it 75 yards to the house before Kirk Herbstreit could finish his sentence that they really need to stop here. Gio Lopez threw a pick six. He got sacked. There was a scoop and score for a touchdown. It was like, oh, my God. It's like call off the dogs. They were gashing him in the run game. And then they forced poor Bill Belichick to go stand up in his post-game presser with a Party City balloon arch behind him. Clearly his girlfriend put that together. It was like a gender reveal balloon arch, and he had to stand up there and answer questions about how they just got shit canned on national television against TCU. It was bad. What were your thoughts?
I didn't even watch the game, but I looked at the box score midway through the third quarter, and I saw Gio Lopez only had 6 pass attempts.
He didn't complete a pass for 2 hours. And they marched down. He had like 80 yards first drive, marched down the field, and then did not complete another pass until like maybe the third quarter. They got fucking dominated. But they made it look easy in the beginning, and so everybody was like, Jesus Christ, Bill's done it again. And then it just got ugly. It got ugly. And we should have fucking hammered TCU. We talked about it. You know I like TCU. You know I like Hoover. We talked about it in our Big 12 breakdown. I'm pretty sure I said almost with certainty that I would bet them in that week one. But then TCU opened 3.5-point underdogs. It flips to 3.5-point favorites. It's just a lot of line movement. I was like, all right, I'll just fucking wait it out and just watch. Immediately regretted it because they could not stop him at all. Hoover looked great. North Carolina, though, could not tackle. Really bad tackling. Got dominated in the trenches. They were running. There was 30-yard touchdown runs where they're going in untouched. It was tough. But one thing that was good to see, Max Johnson came in and started moving the ball for him like that immediately. Granted, TCU's obviously taking their foot off the gas a little bit, but Max Johnson broke his leg very badly. That was the first thing. He comes in immediately. ESPN goes, here, look at this video of him breaking his leg, and they show the whole video. I'm like, Jesus fucking Christ, dude. He broke it I want to say at the femur. So it was a really bad break. But came back and played very, very well. So that was good to see. Former LSU quarterback. But Jesus Christmas, Bill. Welcome to college football. Get to work, pal. 70 transfers. A lot of those players probably won't be on the team next year. Bill might not be on the team next year, or his girlfriend might transfer. So really tough look for the greatest NFL coach of all time. So anything else that I'm missing? Ryan Day has a nipple piercing. That was weird. That was weird.
What did y'all think about whenever it was coming down to the wire in the LSU game, them showing the press conference in the middle of the game of Brian Kelly slamming his hand on the ground or on the table?
Yeah, I didn't like it. Clearly, they're trying to set the table for LSU. Always blows it in Brian Kelly's era with the team. They get up and they can't finish and put it away. Shove it up your ass, ESPN, because they put it away. But, yeah, we glossed over Ryan Day's nipple piercing there. That was weird. Did he just get that? Was that like a celebratory after the national championship? Because how did nobody notice that?
I'm just hearing about it.
Oh, you didn't see it? It's
No,
clear as
it's
day.
just
He was wearing a schmedium, and you could definitely tell he's got like one nipple pierced. And he looks like a freak.
I don't know how I think about that, but I don't think highly of it. I can
Yeah,
tell you
no,
that
he
right
looks like a freak. But it's like, seriously, what was that? There's no way nobody would have noticed that before. They noticed it week one of this year.
Yeah,
he
it's
had to
new.
go get that as a celebratory thing. But it's like, get a tattoo, you fucking weirdo. What the fuck, dude? I don't know. I didn't enjoy that. All right, let's get into it. Week 2, college football. Hit the like and subscribe button. Again, I appreciate everybody who likes the video because it really does help us out a tremendous amount. So if you've done it before, do it again. If you haven't done it yet, just click it. It's right there. It really does help us out big time. And you did great, 3-1-1. Bam went 2-1. I did my usual week 1. So I'm just here to host, and we're going to take some shots. And hopefully we do better, but hopefully y'all keep leading the way. I told Bam if he can go 2-1 every single week, he'll be a very profitable gambler.
And the listeners will love you.
Yeah. All righty. Does anybody have a play for Friday?
Yeah.
We both do. You want me to lead it off or you to lead it off?
I'll let you lead it off.
Okay. All right. So we're going to James Madison in Louisville. So Louisville's 13.5-point favorites on the home field. Jeff Brom can obviously coach offense anywhere he goes. He's proven that. Tyler Shuck left for the NFL. So he hit the portal and he went and got Miller Moss from USC. Mayava is now the starting quarterback at USC. Miller Moss was out on his ass, needed somewhere to go. Jeff Brom said, come on over here. The stat line for Miller Moss in the previous game is not going to blow you away, and it's misleading in my opinion. I thought he looked extremely comfortable and impressive outside of he had a high throw, kind of to the flat to his wide receiver, got tipped off the guy's hand, intercepted for a pick six, and then he came back the very next drive and threw a ball down the left sidelines that I thought was a great ball in and out of the hands of his receiver, and then very unfortunately got kicked up into the air for an interception. So the stat line's going to read 2 interceptions, but a little misleading. Let's see, where am I at? Isaac Brown. I've talked about this guy last season. Isaac Brown, the running back for Louisville, is a superstar. An NFL running back, 100%. You will see this guy play on Sundays. He had an incredible first game. Not much to it's not unexpected. They have a ton of wide receiver options, obviously headlined by Colin Lacey, who returns. So he was hurt last year, the year before that, over 1,000-yard guy. He's a very dynamic wide receiver. I think he might have even returned a punt for a touchdown. It could have got called back for a penalty. I don't remember specifically, but he can do a lot of different things for you. He's very dynamic when he gets the ball in his hands. The moral of the story here is Louisville and Jeff Brom specifically, they're going to be able to put points up on the board in a very efficient way when you have Isaac Brown running the way he can run. I think we're going to go Louisville minus 13.5 at home. JMU played Weber State. They ran for 300-plus yards. Weber State's bad, real bad. Zero pressure on Barnett. When you're running for 300 yards, life becomes much, much easier for the quarterback. And in the few instances where he had to pass, I was not impressed. I did not think that he looked very sharp. They also have Sluka, the UNLV transfer who held out last year or mid-season, and he had to find a new home. He went to JMU. They put him in, and he threw a couple passes too. So he threw a touchdown in a back corner of the end zone jump ball situation, and then he threw an interception. So I think he only had 4 pass attempts. But obviously they're going to allow him to contribute in some way. We saw him at UNLV last year. He can't really pass for shit. So I don't think that I don't think JMU is going to be able to have the success running the football on Louisville. It's going to put more on Alonzo Barnett to have to throw, and I don't think he's going to have the success to be able to go toe-to-toe with a high-powered Louisville offense that I do think will be able to put up points in bunches on the board. So we're going to go Louisville minus 13.5.
Yeah, I'm taking Louisville as well. You mentioned it about Miller Moss. Actually, I looked at the box score, and then you watched the highlights and saw the interceptions and brought that to my attention. But only played the first half, 223 passing yards, a passing touchdown, and added 1 on the ground. And this was all while Isaac Brown was ripping off explosive rush after explosive rush. So I think, like you think, Louisville has a ton of speed. The offense is going to be able to generate explosive plays. The JMU defense, untested last week against Weber State, although I didn't think they looked bad. Offensively, JMU, to have success, they're going to have success running it, right? I think Louisville can slow them down enough to put JMU in some obvious passing situations, and when they were put in passing situations last week, some of their drives stalled. So I think Louisville can slow the rushing attack down enough, and when they do, I think the pass rush will be a key factor here in this game. So we're going to take Louisville minus 13.5.
Yeah, we are in agreement there. Bam, do you have anything for Friday?
I do not.
One thing I was looking at, it opened 34.5. I wanted to take Texas, to be quite honest with you, because you just had San Jose State lose as a minus 600 favorite. They should not have lost the game, clearly, and they did. Did not look good. Put up, I think, 14 points. It's up to 36.5 now, which is the trending theme for me this week of I have better numbers on plays than what I'm going to be able to give out on the show. I did not bet Texas, but that's one. I would imagine that they're going to bounce back and fucking lay a big number here, but I'll stay off of it. How many total do you have?
5.
Okay, so 4 and a lock. You already gave 1. Go with your next one.
Virginia at NC State. NC State's 2.5-point favorites. The total is 55 now. NC State last week, 423 total yards of offense while allowing 413 yards of offense to ECU. ECU just wasn't able to capitalize here, right? They went 1 for 4 on 4th down. I think Virginia, we know the quarterback very well. He's been around for a while, Chandler Morris. Had a good game last week against who they play? Somebody unrememberable.
Yeah, Coastal Carolina.
Okay. Yeah, Coastal's in total shambles now.
Ever since Paul left them. And Chatwell.
Morris added 50 yards rushing as well on the ground. I think Virginia pushes the pace here a little bit more than NC State probably wants to, but I think NC State can keep up. So we're going to go Virginia, NC State over 55.
Okay. I'm also on this. So I got a good look at NC State and ECU when they played last week. I was on the over in that one because I felt like ECU would be able to have success against a relatively unproven North Carolina State secondary. The problem was ECU tried to commit to the run for way too long. They weren't having success. And then when they started to air it out, now they started moving the ball a little bit. On the flip side of that, NC State's offense looked great, and they kind of stalled out down the stretch. C.J. Bailey is a very talented player. He'll still make some, was he a sophomore now? Yeah. Still make some underclassmen mistakes, if you want to classify it like that. He'll put the ball up for grabs in tough spots, but I was pleased with the way he was willing to push the ball down the field. I do think Chandler Morris, same thing. He was pushing the ball down the field as well. NC State, believe it or not, was uncharacteristically running a little bit of tempo against ECU. I think they had them on their heels in that first half. And this is me maybe wishful thinking, but when they were running tempo, they were putting points up on the board. They stopped running tempo, and then all of a sudden, scoring stalled out for them because they jumped out to a 17-point lead. It looked like they could have ran away with that one and really put that to bed, and they didn't do so. So hopefully they maybe don't do that again, and they keep their foot on the gas a little bit more. Hollywood Smothers and some other backs, they've got good backs. They got decent weapons. I think we can put some points up on the board here. So, yeah, I'm going to go over 55 as well. Let's see. Okay, I am going to go to – you have 2 and a lock, Bam?
Yep.
Okay. I'm going to go to Oklahoma State and Oregon. And – right to it, we're going to lay 28 points with the Oregon Ducks here. Oklahoma State quarterback, I am going to butcher this name, Heisney, no fucking clue. Broke his foot. He's out. First game against UT Martin. He was moving the ball somewhat, but still not very impressively. The backup came in, Zane Flores, and he did not look good. So Heisney, well, however you pronounce it, we're going to go with Heisney. Heisney's out. Zane Flores is going to be the starter. I don't think Oklahoma State looks very good. I wasn't super high on Oregon coming into the year with Moore, the UCLA transfer. But I will say they played Montana State, which is an FCS school, but they're one of the best FCS schools. They beat them 59-13. They looked pretty good. For some reason, Mekhi Hughes, the Tulane transfer, did not really play. I think he maybe ran the ball one time. There was some speculation that maybe that was a disciplinary thing, and maybe you'll see him kind of put back into the mix in this game. Gundy came out in the press conference and basically threw shots at Oregon for how much they spent on their team and this and that. And then Dan Lanning responded back to him and basically said, like he just threw shots back at him. So there's a little more incentive for Dan Lanning to maybe put some additional points up on the board in this one. He said, he was quoted saying, "We spend to win. If they don't want to spend to win, that's on them." So we're going to take Oregon minus 28. I really just don't think that this Oklahoma State team's very good at all. They weren't good last year. Hedgney was Oklahoma State's highest graded offensive player. So you lose him, and that just goes to show you. I mean, he really wasn't doing very much at all. So Oregon's very deep. It's a tough place to go play, one of the toughest places to go play in the country. And then you throw a little extra incentive on top of it. I think the Ducks will lay a big number here, and I really just don't think Oklahoma State will be able to keep up. So we'll go Oregon minus 28. Give us your first one, Bam.
All right, going to Tulane at South Alabama at 6 o'clock Saturday. I'll just get right to it. I'm taking Tulane minus 10. They looked really good. The first week, Jake Retzlaff, I think that's how you pronounce it.
Yep.
152 yards in the air. I mean, not that good of a passing game, but what kept them, going was their rushing attack. He had 10 carries for 113 yards, 11.3 average, and a touchdown. Also, the running back, Maurice Turner, 86 yards on the ground. In South Alabama, they only won by 17 against Morgan State Bears, where, they have a pretty good rushing attack with Kentrell Bullock, 23 carries for 127 yards, but Tulane did pretty good at stopping the rush against Northwestern, so for that reason, I'm going to lay the points with Tulane minus 10.
Okay. We got to work on the fluidity of the breakdowns.
Yes, I know.
It is funny because Justin used to struggle with that too. It's not as easy as it looks. There's a lot of people out there. Yeah, get some water. You're struggling. I could hear it in your voice. A lot of people think you can get behind this mic and it's just a fucking cakewalk, all right? A lot of people want to talk shit. And
New to this.
No, I'm not. I know. I understand. Look, I don't care. You want to tell us that Retzlaff sucks at passing and that's why you're betting on Tulane? As long as they win, I don't care, okay? Because he can definitely run the rock. That's one. We skipped the recap. I'm tripping. So we'll give out the bets and then we'll do a quick recap. Because we glossed. Oh yeah, fuck. I'm still not. It's week 1, going into week 2 now. Still not in midseason form. I said it last week. That's on me. Preston Stone looked like dog shit. Fucking terrible.
Yeah.
Terrible. Quick recap. I went 3-6-1. I'm 3-8-1 on the year. 0-1 on my lock of the week. The winners was LSU +4. That saved the week with a money line bet as well. Just on the side. Georgia Tech minus 4.5. Little sweaty. We deserved it. Boise State UCF under 63.5. No sweat. Boise was a no-show. Notre Dame Miami under 50. It hit 51. Another perfect example of I had a better number than what I gave out on the show, and it was the difference. So that should have never fucking went over. CJ Daniels made an incredible catch. And then Nebraska minus 6.5 dominated every statistic in the box score except the final score. I felt like Nebraska should have covered the number there if they weren't so conservative. So 3-6-1 could have looked different. Toledo +8 as well. We push. This closed at 10. So if you bet it later on in the week, you won this bet. Kentucky looked like shit. Toledo had opportunities. 3-6-1, not a good week. You went 3-1-1. A push with Wisconsin, and a little asterisk by that one, if you ask me, because Billy Edwards got hurt, starting quarterback. Backup came in. I could be mispronouncing his name, but the backup came in, looked like shit. They still were able to cover the number. Wisconsin minus 17, Northwestern +5.5. Preston Stone's the fucking worst quarterback in the country. But if that's your worst one of the week, that means you had a pretty good week because you won everything else. Tennessee minus 14 was your lock of the week. They covered the number against Syracuse. LSU +4 and under 57.5. 2 no sweat winners. 3-1-1 brings you to 4-2-1. Bam, you went 2-1. You had Alabama first half. Bad. They stink. You had Arizona first half. They covered. And you had
Auburn minus 2.5.
Auburn. And Jackson Arnold ran away with it for you. 2-1 brings you to 2-2?
Yep.
Okay. That's my mistake. Won't happen again. In terms of the recap, like I said, we are very transparent with how we did. So, again, yeah, my mistake. We'll make sure that gets out in the correct order next time. Give me your next one for Saturday.
All right, this is going to be one nobody likes. Army at Kansas State. Kansas State 17-point favorites.
I'm truly interested to see which side you go.
This is an interesting game, right? Does Army suck? Does Kansas State suck? Army lost outright to Tarleton State. Kansas State survived a serious scare against North Dakota. So far, I think Kansas State's rush defense is okay. They did give up about 3 or 4 rushes over 20 yards, I think, last week against North Dakota. I think there's more concerns in Kansas State's secondary. Army turned the ball over 3 times against Arlington State. They don't do that, they probably win the game. But the big concern is Army struggled to stop the run. I think this is a game where Army's success offensively is limited. I just find it. I don't see them having much success in putting much points up on the board here. I think this is a game where Kansas State can run the ball, have success there, and I think what Kansas State wants to do is give Avery Johnson some easy throws. And I think from the difference between him from last year to this year is it looks like he's doing a little bit better job in the intermediate area of passing the ball. So I like Kansas State minus 17 here at home.
Godspeed. But yeah, Army losing to Tarleton State is as 2 touchdown favorites is not good. But then Kansas State losing to the fucking School of the Blind, nearly, coming from the depths of defeat. What the hell was that? They had to make a drive there at the end to win.
What were they favored by?
I don't even know. A lot, I think.
I mean, North Dakota's not a bad FCS school, and neither is Tarleton State.
But yeah, regardless.
They were down, and they had to score the game-winning touchdown with under a minute left.
Yeah. All right, I have, let's see, I think I have 2 more, and then my lock. UCLA going on the road to take on UNLV on the fast track in Vegas. We're going to go back to the Bruins. A complete misread by me last week with UCLA. We took UCLA plus 6.5. I was not aware how much of a disadvantage they had in the trenches against Utah, who impressed mightily. Devin Dampier looked fantastic, but in the trenches specifically, Utah handled what they needed to do. UCLA, we're going to go back to the Bruins, and I'm going to lay 2.5 here. I think UNLV's bad. That's really what it boils down to. I think their secondary is fucking horrific. I think they played Sam Houston State, whose quarterback situation might be the worst in the country, and then they played Idaho State before that to a 38-31 victory, a game in which Idaho State had, I want to say, over 400 passing yards. Nico should be able to have much more success throwing the football here. He was using his legs a little bit against Utah, but this is just a significant difference in terms of a defense that you're going to see. So I think we'll see a better game out of UCLA here, and I am going to lay 2.5 with a little bit of skepticism because it did not look good last week, but I really do just think UNLV is not very good at all on the defensive side of the ball. Offensively, they do have some pretty damn good running backs. Calandria has not looked bad, but Calandria will put that ball up for grabs in a couple different situations. We've seen him kind of throw it up into double coverage blindly when he gets pressured a little bit. I think UCLA can maybe get to him and bother him. So I'm going to lay 2.5 with the Bruins. Give me your thoughts. You hate it?
No, I actually thought about it.
Okay. It's reassuring. How many more do you have before you lock?
1.
Okay. Go ahead with it.
Vanderbilt, Virginia Tech. Virginia Tech's 1-point favorites. The total's 47.5. This is going to be another one that not a lot of people like because the Squares love Pavia. I'm not going to say Pavia's. I'm not going to start this year.
I love Pavia.
I'm not going to.
Not this week, but
I'm not going to start off this year like last year and say Pavia sucks. But Virginia Tech, South Carolina, we go back and look at the game. Turnovers were the difference in an otherwise close game on the box score. I thought Virginia Tech's defense played pretty damn good considering the quarterback they were playing against. Just Sellers was too hard to stop at key situations. Pavia is good, but Sellers is a different animal.
Yeah, he can't run. He can't run like that.
I like Virginia Tech here, -1 in a revenge game.
They need it. I mean, we talked about it. I was big on Virginia Tech last year, and I saw a lot of people come out of the woodwork like, oh, this is the year maybe Kyron Drones puts it together. You got less weapons. I don't dislike the direction you're going there because, yeah, I think a lot of people are going to be on Vanderbilt, and Vanderbilt beat Alabama and kind of became like a college football darling. But then I think they lost to somebody fucking bad. Like they're not consistent at all.
They are a team that manages to get outgained by 100 yards and still keep the game close somehow.
the Diego Pavia difference.
But this is only a 1-point spread.
Yeah.
Key factor.
Yeah, tough place to go play. At least it used to be when Virginia Tech didn't fucking suck. But I actually have 2 more plays and then my lock. But Bam, I'll let you go. Go ahead.
All right, LSU, LA Tech. Just gonna keep it quick. Taking the under 51.5.
Okay. I don't really have much of an opinion on this. I don't know if you do. I saw. Okay.
If LSU doesn't score 51.5 on their own, then it's probably a good bet. Because Louisiana Tech won't score until LSU wants them to.
Yeah. No, this is how much does LSU care to win by?
Pretty much my reasoning behind it.
Okay. Hopefully there's no fucking kick return or something.
Yeah, maybe they take it easy on the in-school
In-state.
rival or whatever you want to call it. In-state little brother.
All right, let's go to Ole Miss and Kentucky. I faded Kentucky last week with Toledo +8. I felt like Toledo, we pushed it. I felt like Toledo should have covered the number. A couple tough turnovers from Gleason. Kentucky did a pretty good job, though. Obviously going to have the upper hand in the trenches as expected, but I felt like the defense looked pretty good. Ole Miss stomped Georgia State 63-7. I didn't love Austin Simmons' willingness to necessarily put the ball up for grabs in certain instances, but he can really throw the football. He looked good in the very small sample we saw last year. He's obviously got a lot of expectations around him. This bet is basically going to be a fading of Kentucky, just like last week. I don't all of a sudden love them because Toledo pushed, but Zach Calzada looked worse than I could have ever expected. That's why it's very frustrating that Toledo did not cover the number. Calzada looked fucking horrific. 10 of 23, 85 yards and an interception. I think Kentucky's defense will provide some resistance against Ole Miss and Simmons and with his first SEC road start, but Ole Miss is going to pull away late and maybe earlier than late. I just don't think Kentucky's offense is going to be able to do very much here. If you can stop Dowdle, I don't think Calzada is going to fucking do anything. One thing that worries me, because I was going to take the under 52.5 because I am a little worried when it comes to Ole Miss's offensive line. The problem is I wanted under 52.5. It dropped to like 50. So we're going to divert course. We're going to lay 10 points with Ole Miss. The guard situation on the offensive line is not good. So that's one thing to watch. And I think if Kentucky is able to stay inside of this number, it's because they're able to get pressure on Simmons and possibly force a couple turnovers like we saw in their first game where Simmons got hit while he was throwing, ball got popped up in the air and intercepted. If the offensive line can keep him clean, then Ole Miss is going to run away with this game because they have too much firepower, and it's really just, like I said, Kentucky fucking is terrible. So, but that is one thing that worries me. Their guards graded out near the bottom of the barrel out of like 400 guys. So maybe that was just a one-off week, and they're not as bad as they looked, but it was tough. I'm going to lay 10 with Ole Miss. I just think that they're going to run away with it. So I think just my – no, I've got another one. Jesus Christ. How many do I have? You have just your lock left?
Yeah.
Same for you, Bam?
Yep.
Okay. Real quick. Good there, good there, good there. All righty. Biggest game of the week, Michigan at Oklahoma. Short and sweet, we'll get right to it. I'm going to take Michigan plus 5.5. I do worry that Venables is going to be able to throw looks at Bryce Underwood, and it's going to confuse him in certain spots like we saw with Nico last year. I was big on the under with Oklahoma and Tennessee. It was an easy winner. I was thoroughly impressed and look, Bryce Underwood flipped from LSU, so I'm not wishing for him to not have success, especially this week. But I was pretty impressed with how he looked in his first start. The arm talent is clear. I felt like he had good throws on like some wheel routes and some anticipatory throws and good touch, and he can do everything you need him to do. Is he going to be able to hang in the pocket and withstand Venables sending exotic looks and pressures at him on the road in a tough place to go play? That remains to be seen. I do think, though, that this game is going to be – I lean under. It's a little lower than I would like it to be. Michigan on the defensive side of the ball, though, I think will be able to have success. One thing that is worrisome, if you like Oklahoma, they couldn't run the ball at all. So you're going to put Mateer in some obvious passing down situations. I think they're going to be able to keep him in the pocket and force him to make the right decision, take checkdowns when he needs to, and things like that. I think we could see Mateer put the ball up for grabs. I was not blown away with the first game for Oklahoma. They ran the ball 32 times for only 3.2 yards per carry. If they can't establish the run against Michigan, I think that Michigan's going to be able to stay inside this number. I think Underwood's good enough when you pair him with the fact that they've got some quality running backs behind him. I think Underwood's good enough, if he can use his legs a little bit more too, that they'll be able to keep the chains moving, and they're going to at least be able to keep this game close. I think 5.5 is too many. This opened at 2.5 and quickly got bet out. I think it went a little too far. So we're going to go Michigan Wolverines plus 5.5. What are your thoughts on that? Biggest game of the week.
I'm definitely interested to watch it, but yeah, who did Oklahoma play? Nobody's.
It wasn't anybody.
But yeah, Mateer, I saw some highlights. He delivered some strikes, but
Illinois State,
they won 35-3.
So yeah, I think this is going to be a tough defensive matchup probably.
Yeah, no, that's what I'm thinking. I think the number's just a little too high. That the stylistic gameplay is going to be. That's the problem, though. Oklahoma couldn't fucking run the ball, and they couldn't get any push. It wasn't just like the running backs didn't look good. The run blocking looked bad. So that's where is Mateer going to run all over him himself and light it up passing and have the success? I just don't necessarily think so. And if you can't go ahead and establish the run, I'm not saying Michigan's going to win, but I think they can keep this game close. So we'll see. Yeah, we'll see. That was the thing. Where was Jaden Ott? Why did Jaden Ott only have one carry? I guess I should have looked into that. But yeah, I was look, it was 34-17 against New Mexico for Michigan. I was still pretty impressed with Bryce Underwood, though. The arm talent is very clear. He can get the ball out in a hurry, and I felt like it was on full display why he was the number one quarterback. So, but yeah, I just think the number's a little bit too high. So we are going to take Michigan plus 5.5. And all we have left is our locks, correct?
Yep.
All right. All righty. No such thing as a lock of the week, but if there was...
It's a lock, Kramer. You've had this thing under control for almost 3 years now. But it's a lock.
They need that fucking juice. They need that next bet. They need... Come on. Yes! When they win, they go fucking crazy.
You're a bad motherfucker. Go in that shower, grab your fucking nuts, and tell the world somebody's sniffing my fucking nutsack today. Because I ain't got time to fuck around no more.
All right, for my lock of the week, we're going to Baylor and SMU, and we're going to get right to it. We're going to take Baylor plus 2.5, and we could have got a better number yesterday. And that, like I said, that's the theme of this episode is going to be being on the wrong side of a couple numbers, but I'm still going to do it because I think Baylor's going to win this game. We're taking Baylor plus 2.5. They're coming off a tough loss to Auburn where they allowed Jackson Arnold to run for 137 yards and 2 touchdowns. They lost 38-24, but the score you could make an argument is misleading. They gave up a kick return touchdown. They got stopped on 4th and goal from the 3-yard line in the first quarter, and then at the end of the game, they got stopped inside the red zone. I think inside the 10-yard line as well. Baylor's offense put up 483 yards. The Baylor defense does worry me, I will be honest with you, but I think SMU peaked last year. SMU did not impress me in their first game. I don't think Kevin Jennings is really that good. Preston Stone won the job originally last year. Turns out he might be the worst quarterback in the country for Northwestern. I think Baylor's in a kind of a desperation situation here. You had a really tough game to start the season with Auburn. You turn right back around. Now you got to play another team that was in the college football playoff in SMU. I think Baylor's going to win this game outright. I think they have to win this game. And I think that offense with Trigg and Cameron and all those different wide receivers, I think they're going to put some points up on the board. I don't think SMU is going to be able to match them. So give me Baylor plus 2.5 as my lock of the week.
All right, we're going to Ole Miss, Kentucky. We're laying the 10 points with Ole Miss. Ole Miss had a field day on offense against Georgia State, 695 total yards, 400 through the air, 295 on the ground. Kentucky was actually outgained by Toledo. And this was a game where Kentucky gave up 270 yards passing. I think Just like you, it's a big one to ask Calzada to keep up here. I don't think Kentucky can stay close in this one with a one-dimensional offense. Sorry, condensed my notes right there. Ole Miss minus 10.
Yeah, I'm obviously in firm agreement. As I said, I'm also on it. I just think, Calzada stinks. Bam, what is your lock of the week?
My lock of the week is also Ole Miss minus 10 versus Kentucky.
We got a triple consensus, almost triple lock consensus on Ole Miss.
That would have been something.
Jesus. Do you got anything additional to it, or you just firm agreement?
Y'all pretty much hit everything.
Okay. Yeah, I mean, for Kentucky to stay in that game, they're going to need to get to Simmons early and often and probably force a turnover or two and then really muck the game up. So if we can get a competent performance out of the offensive line, I think Ole Miss will run away with it. But we shall see. Give me your honest thoughts on Baylor plus 2.5. You obviously were leaning when it was 3. Like we talked about, I got Baylor plus 4.5.
Yeah, so yesterday it came down to 3.5 quickly. I really liked it still there, and then was still willing to bet it at plus 3, but it got bought up.
My problem is I think they're going to win the football game. I think they're going to win the game. And I think that that offense is the real deal with Trigg, and Trigg was having a field day in the center, operating in the middle of the field. I think there's just too many options for Baylor. And I don't think SMU has the advantage in the trenches like Auburn had. So, yeah, I think Baylor's going to win the game. To recap, I am taking Oregon minus 28, Michigan plus 5.5, Virginia, NC State over 55, Louisville minus 13.5, Ole Miss minus 10, UCLA minus 2.5, and my lock of the week is Baylor plus 2.5.
Okay, we're going Louisville minus 13.5, Virginia, NC State over 55, Ole Miss minus 10 for the lock, Kansas State minus 17, and Virginia Tech minus 1.
Bam, what is your 3?
Going Tulane minus 10 versus South Alabama. LSU, LA Tech under 51.5. Got it at 52.5, but we'll take 51.5. And Ole Miss minus 10 versus Kentucky.
Alrighty, there you
That's
go.
a lock.
That is our best bets of the week for college football. Week 2 it was a very good week for Nick and Bam. Not the best for me, but we're going to turn it around very quickly starting this week. Now we turn our attention to NFL Week 1, ladies and gentlemen. It is back. It is going to be an incredible season. I was just thinking about it, kind of foreshadowing what this season's going to be like. A lot of storylines. Lamar Jackson, can he finally break through and not only win a Super Bowl, but not only get to a Super Bowl, but possibly win a Super Bowl? Can the Bills finally break through? I think it's possibly a two-horse race in the AFC, but you got a lot of other teams kind of flirting with that top spot. What are the Chiefs going to look like? What are the Chargers going to look like? I'm just glad it's back. I'm ready to get going. Obviously, this is a different year than in years past, a most unique year since we've started this podcast because, like I've said, we're in the Circa Millions. So what that is going to consist of is 5 picks against the spread every week. We are going to have to recap it, though. Like I mentioned earlier in the episode, the lines, Circa doesn't put the lines out until Thursday. Our episode will already be out by then. So every episode we will recap you and let you know how it's going and try to see if we can make some money. So do you have anything noteworthy to touch on before we just dive right into the games as it pertains to the NFL? Micah Parsons.
Yeah.
Not to jump you, I guess, but I just remembered. Obviously, Micah Parsons, we haven't talked about that in between episodes. He got traded to the Green Bay Packers. Is Jerry Jones a fool?
I think yeah and no.
Yeah and no?
I think we talked about it the other day. It's like I still don't think the Cowboys are anywhere close to contending for a Super Bowl. So you get 2 first-round picks, a good defensive tackle, and what's his name? Kenny Clark?
Kenny Clark, yeah. He had a really down year last year. He was a good player for a little while, but he's approaching 30. And
I don't think it's the worst thing for them. It's obviously much bigger for the Packers.
Mm-hmm.
Getting a player like Parsons when you are possibly the best team in your division now, a division that was
a very good division.
3 playoff teams last year.
Yeah, a very good division, arguably the best division in football. But the the Packers are. I had to listen to Cam Newton say the Packers aren't even close to being a contender. Cam Newton's a fool, so make no mistake about it. Keep cutting holes into the top of your fucking hat, Cam. The Packers are certainly a contender, and when you are a contender and you go get arguably the best pass rusher in the NFL, that's a fucking serious thing. So, and defensive end is one of those positions where you just saw it with Saquon Barkley at running back. They tried to cast away the running back position. Giants let Saquon go. Saquon was the reason the Eagles got to and won the Super Bowl. So, obviously, Jalen Hurts fucking led the way in the Super Bowl, but they don't get there without Saquon Barkley. So, somebody like Micah Parsons could be the difference. You could find yourself in the NFC Championship game late, and Micah Parsons comes up with a big sack. So, somebody like that could be the difference between getting to the Super Bowl and not. So, let's get into it, I guess. If you're new to the show, we always pick the Thursday game no matter what. Historically, we dominate Thursdays, at least for about the first 8 weeks, and then maybe we'll fade off a little bit. But we're going to get off to a hot start pretty much every single Thursday. I'm very interested to see which way you lean on this Thursday because it's a very funky number. But, yeah, let's dive into it. Cowboys and Eagles. The Eagles are at home 7.5, maybe. Let me see.
7.5 to 8.5.
Okay.
Yep.
Better's choice.
7.5 to 8.5 points, with the total sitting around 47.5. I know which way I'm going. Do you know which way you're going? Do you want to hit them with a 3-2-1 right off the bat to start the year?
Yeah, sure.
All right, count us down, Bam. Give it a consistent 3-2-1 though.
Don't go too fast.
We go 3-2-1. Say it like that. Go ahead.
3, 2, 1.
Cowboys.
Yeah.
You didn't say it.
Honestly, if you said the Eagles, I was going, yeah.
Yeah, you definitely. I'm taking the Cowboys. It's too many points. 8.5?
8.5.
This is going to be like the Cowboys are either going to win this game or the Eagles are going to beat them by a fucking 100. And then they're going to be like, Jerry Jones is either an idiot or he's a genius. But no, in all seriousness, I think it's just too many points. I think you have Dak back. You're going to get a little bit more stability at the quarterback position. He went out and got George Pickens. I think they'll be able to move the ball a little bit. This has backdoor written all over it at the very least. For a Thursday game to kick the season off, divisional game, it feels like too many points, right?
Yeah, I think so. I think the Cowboys have a legitimate
Well, you're throwing me for a loop because I was like, great, we agree. And then you're like, I was going to agree no matter what.
I was making a joke there. No, I was really going to Cowboys the whole time. But the Cowboys have real running backs now. And then you add counterpart to CeeDee Lamb with a little bit of a troublemaker Pickens. But I think he's a very talented player. And I think Dak is still somewhat underrated. So when healthy, I think he can get those guys the ball.
Yeah, I mean, I agree. And look, the Cowboys' defense is probably going to fucking suck. But 8.5 points for an NFL spread, when you have a competent quarterback, too, a lot of times you see these numbers, it's because they're playing a team with a shit can at quarterback. So you have a competent quarterback that can keep the chains moving, and you've got one of the best wide receivers in the league. So I think the Cowboys will be able to put some points up on the board. Are the Eagles going to put up 40? Maybe. But we'll see. Bam, which way are you going for the Thursday game?
I was going to lean the under 47.5.
Okay. What does that mean? Is that what you're taking? You lean that way or are you taking it?
I'll take it that way.
Okay. All right, Friday, we have a game in Brazil. Are you on it?
I am not.
I am. I'm going to take the Chargers plus 3.5. I have said many a times that I think we're going to see the Chiefs with a little bit of regression here. Noteworthy is that fact that Rashee Rice will be serving a 6-game suspension and will not be playing. What are you playing, Candy Crush over there?
This freaking thing is dinging.
I don't think the Chiefs have much of a run game. With Rashee Rice not on the field, there was a steep drop-off in their offensive production last year when Patrick Mahomes took him out and took out my fantasy football chances when he broke his fucking leg. I like the Chargers. I like Harbaugh. I'm higher on Herbert than most, I guess. At least when you and I talk about it, I'm a little higher on him than you. them going out and getting Amari and Hampton. Najee Harris has been dealing with some funky firework in the eye issue. At least it's not in the hand like Pierre-Paul, but his eye's been half shut for fucking a couple months now. He got cleared for contact. He's expected to go, it sounds like, although they have been non-committal about it. I would be surprised if he can't go. He said his vision's fine. You went and you got Trey Harris, a wide receiver, to upgrade the position, but you've got Lad McConkey, you've got Quentin Johnston, who's at least a decoy and will drop whatever's thrown his way. But I think that Amari and Hampton's going to be a very good running back, and I'm high on Herbert. I think that at 3.5 points, I'll take the Chargers, getting the 3.5. At the very least, I think maybe the Chiefs win by a field goal, but I think the Chargers can win this game. So give me the Chargers plus 3.5 on Friday. If there's Friday football, I'm going to be on it. What's your first play for Sunday?
Dolphins Colts. We're gonna go with Dolphins here. Okay. Money line pick 'em. A-Chain is a little hobbled, but should play.
That's what I saw. It's a soft tissue injury. But as far as I saw, he's gonna play.
Yeah, as long as A-Chain's playing, I think the Dolphins have a really good offense.
Yeah, so it says he was able to get back to practice, and he is expected to play against the Colts. He's the X factor, or he's the key factor in this one on if I'm taking the fucking Dolphins or not. Because if he's out, I'm out. I think he's really, really good. And I think the Colts have a good roster, but they have serious quarterback issues. And I think you've seen the Dolphins were 1.5 point underdogs. Money came in. Now it's even. I made this Miami favored by about 0.5 point. So at 1.5, it was a definite go. Is that what it's at? It's even now?
Yeah.
We positive about that?
Yes.
Because it looked like it maybe went. I trust you, but I don't. There's one. There's juiced 1.5s. Jesus Christ. Bam, can you give me an accurate number on the Dolphins and the Colts?
Yeah, 1 second.
I see +1.
Yeah, +1.
It's juice, though? -115?
Yeah.
What's the money line? -110. Yeah, we're going money line. All right. So, yeah, okay. We'll go Dolphins money line. So it is a -110. Like I said, all of our plays are -110 just about. So, okay. So you're on the Dolphins. I'm on the Dolphins. Bam, what's your first one for Sunday?
Going to Cardinals Saints. I'm taking the Cardinals -6.5.
Mother of God, that's the sign we needed. Okay, I'm not on that, but that's good to know. Why are you taking the Cardinals?
I just think the Saints suck. So,
fuck, that's what they want you to think. Yeah, we talked about it. Just full disclosure, we talked about it. We think the number might be a little too high. I don't feel confident enough to bet it here or give it out. So, but yeah, we're gonna suck.
Yeah,
but we'll see. We'll see what happens. Okay, so you're going Cardinals. What is your next one? I
have a lock.
That's it?
Yeah.
Okay. I am going to take. Give me your honest opinion on the Patriots. You think it's stay away and wait and see time?
Yeah.
I lean the Patriots. I'm probably a little higher on them than I should be. My numbers got the Patriots by nearly fucking 3.5. That might be a little.
I got Patriots 2.5.
I don't really trust my numbers yet. So.
Me either, but
so we got to see. Typically, if I've got a -3.45, if it's 2.5, that should be a full go. I don't trust these numbers yet, so we're gonna wait. But I do lean the Patriots. I think Drake May's gonna be good. We're obviously higher on him than most, I guess. Shouldn't have been a Pro Bowler last year, but the moves that they made, especially on the defensive line, you put me on to Milton Williams. Fantastic fucking defensive lineman. But with Geno Smith, in all seriousness, I could see this being a one-possession game down the stretch. Geno Smith is for all the mistakes he can make. He is a veteran quarterback. I don't know that I necessarily want to have Drake May in that type of situation when Geno Smith's on the other side. Not that you said it. Geno Smith's great at getting him in a position to almost win and then lose the game. But still, I'll wait and see it from the Patriots before I hop behind them. But what I will take is I'm going to go. I'm very conflicted on my locks, if I'm being completely honest with you. I've got 2. Can you tell me the game that your lock pertains to? No? Fuck. Okay. Alrighty.
I can tell you it's not any of the ones you're considering.
What, you looked at my sheet?
No, I just know.
Okay, well, I'm going to take the Green Bay Packers minus 2.5. I'm going to lay the points. My number has us at a pick 'em. So going against my numbers here, like I said, don't trust them for shit yet. I just think, I've talked about the Lions. I think you're going to see a little bit of regression out of Detroit. You lose 2 top 10 linemen on the interior. You've got Aleem McNeil recovering from the ACL injury on the defensive line. Aiden Hutchinson broke his leg last year. You lose Ben Johnson and you lose Aaron Glenn. In our look ahead, I broke down why I think the Lions may take a little bit of a step back, and that doesn't necessarily mean they're going to have a bad season. They're just not going to be as good as they were last year. Still a ton of weapons on the offensive side, but I got to see it on that offensive line if they can not allow a bunch of interior pressure. And I think the Packers, I like what the Packers are doing. I was very high on the Packers last year. Jordan Love, please take the next step. It's time. But at home to start this season, I got to go Packers minus 2.5 if I'm expecting to see some regression from the Lions here, and I like what the Packers are doing. So give me Green Bay. Bam, you have one more and then your lock?
Yep.
Give me your one more.
Going to the Lions-Packers game, I'm just taking the over 46.5 here.
Okay. All righty. I am going to go to Monday night. Bears and Vikings. We're going to go under 43.5. I'm going to double check very quickly and just make sure I'm not glossing over a better number. And I am, Christ. We're going to go under 44.5. Clearly people disagree with me. I think that who the fuck knows if J.J. McCarthy's going to be good. We got to find that out. There's kind of mixed signals coming out from the Bears in terms of Caleb Williams and his progression and him struggling to pick up the complexities of Ben Johnson's offense. And I do like what the Bears did on the offensive line. I think that they did one of the best jobs in terms of free agency and going and improving the offensive line. I would lean the Bears probably getting the points at home. But with Dennis Allen, I think Dennis Allen can throw some looks. That's one thing. Dennis Allen he's not a good head coach, but he is a good defensive coach and a good defensive mind. I think he'll be able to throw looks at J.J. McCarthy to make it difficult for him. And then on the other side, you got Flores, who's going to certainly be able to send pressure at Caleb Williams. I lean under. And it's been a very popular thing in terms of the primetime game unders in the last couple years. We'll go under 44.5 in the Vikings and the Bears. All we have left is our locks. I'll let you can go first on this one. But, again, no such thing as a lock, but if there was.
It's a lock, Kramer. You've had this thing under control for almost 3 years now. But it's a lock.
They need that fucking juice. They need that next bet. They need, come on. Yes! When they win, they go fucking crazy.
You're a bad motherfucker. Go in that shower, grab your fucking nuts, and tell the world somebody's sniffing my fucking nutsack today. Because I ain't got time to fuck around no more.
All right, we're going with the Saints plus 6.5.
Wow.
Against the Cardinals. Probably Cardinals minus 6.5 is going to be the most popular play this week, right?
Yeah.
It's something we talked about in the NFL previews. I think the Saints offensive line is still pretty good. Penning's probably going to be out, right, with the turf toe.
Yeah.
I think Kamara has success running it here against this Cardinals defense, and I think that's enough to keep the Saints in this game. So we'll go Saints plus 6.5 for the lock.
Okay, yeah, you were right because you said that I would not be on it, and you are correct. And bam, that just spit right in your face. I am going to go for my lock of the week. maybe square. But I'm going to go with the Ravens plus 1.5 on the road against one of the best teams in the NFL in the Buffalo Bills. I think the Ravens are the best team. I think the Ravens are the best team in the NFL. I think I really do. I have the Ravens as the best team by a decent margin. I think defensively what they're going to be able to do going out and getting Malachi Starks I think was a huge get. I just think the Ravens are the best team. So, and if you want to go with a revenge factor, sure, I don't really put much stock into that, but the Ravens did lose to the Bills last year. It was a tough game from Lamar with the 2 turnovers. I think we see the Ravens come out firing, and you're going to give me a 1.5 with what I think is the best team in the NFL. I'm going to take it. So the Baltimore Ravens plus 1.5 is my lock of the week. Bam, what is your lock?
Bengals minus 4.5 versus the Browns.
Christ, Bam, you're a crazy son of a bitch. Okay. Okay. You're crazy. But it's only crazy if it doesn't work. Is that what they say?
Yeah.
Alrighty, to recap, I am taking the Cowboys plus 8.5 on Thursday night. Friday, we're going Chargers plus 3.5. Dolphins in a pick'em. Packers minus 2.5. Monday night, Bears and Vikings under 44.5. And Sunday night, the Baltimore Ravens plus 1.5 is my lock of the week.
Cowboys plus 8.5. Saints plus 6.5 lock. Dolphins in a pick'em.
Bam.
Thursday night, Eagles, Cowboys under 47.5. Cardinals minus 6.5 versus Saints. Lions, Packers over 46.5. And as my lock, Bengals minus 4.5 versus the Browns.
There you go. That is our best bets for NFL Week 1. That is our best bets for college football Week 2. Do you have anything to say before we go?
Nope.
Bam.
Let's go.
Okay. I have one thing to say before we go. This is basically a recommendation to all Saints fans. We got to stop with the picking sides, whether it's Rattler or Shuck or even Hainer, you crazy bastards. We're going to suck no matter which way we go. So sit back, embrace the suck. Stop rooting for Rattler to fail. If he's the starter, that's our guy. Get behind him. We're going to hope he does well, especially Nick's lock of the week is the Saints. Godspeed. We need all hands on deck and get away from this weird tribalism bullshit with guys you didn't know existed a year ago. If he's the starter, that's who I'm rooting for. I don't care who it is. If they run Alvin Kamara Wildcat, I'm fully on board. Just sit back, understand that we're firmly in a rebuild at this point. Stop arguing with people about whether it's Shuck or Hainer or Rattler or who gives a shit. We're going to be bad either way. So kick your feet up. Look for some of the young guys to show promise and try to figure out who's going to be on the team when we make this rebuild and we make another run at it.
This team's not as bad as y'all think.
Okay. We got a young coach. We got an offensive mind. That's what we were looking for. I think we've got the right guys in the building. We might have Garrett Nussmeier on the squad next year. But yeah, enjoy it. It's going to be a tough watch for 17 weeks, and we'll come out on the other side better than we were. You still playing Candy Crush, huh? Episode 231 is in the books. Again, hit the like and subscribe button if you don't mind. It helps us out tremendously. Y'all have a good one. Good luck to y'all, and good luck to us.
The house always wins. Play long enough, you never change the stakes. The house takes you. Unless, when that perfect hand comes along, you bet big, and then you take the house. I've been practicing this pitch a little bit. Did I rush it? Felt like I rushed.
That was good. I liked it.